everybody is more accustomed to the technology, right? So using virtual reality, artificial intelligence, then the acknowledgement that it could be used in different domains.
So, Dennis, I wanted to ask you, as Gen Z drives a shift toward on-demand wellness services, how can providers capitalize on this demographics preference while navigating the market's move from ownership to sharing?
Hello, everyone. Even though I'm trying to push really heavy on self-care, as you can see, I'm a little bit far away from Gen Z, as I would like to be. But luckily, I do have my co-founder, Sophia, who is Gen Z, so I got a lot of insights from her in our daily work life. And I would like to expand the question a little bit. So it's not only like how to capitalize, but maybe look into the decision-making process for Gen Z, what the values are and what the core DNA and what drives them in a day-to-day decision-making process. So you could call Gen Z Generation Active. Typically, they have in a daily routine incorporated fitness or wellness by 15% more than the parents, and they grow up looking at the parents as they go on and off different diets, different fitness routines. So they are trying to stick away to the more holistic approach instead of just following the trends. They looking at well-being as the way of living, and instead of just slimming down on a diet, they look at them for different as a lifestyle. Look for different angles: being fitter, feeling much healthier, staying strong mentally, and reduce stress. And decision-making process for Gen Zs, in order to choose the service, they not just making it emotionally, but they look at the data. So brand and the product, brand's value and the product equally important for Gen Z when they make a decision. And they all, about 50% of Gen Z looking at the YouTube as a primary review channel. So for any brand who's trying to capture Gen Z attention, being present in YouTube, it's a must do. As well as a TikTok, it's a primary search engine for the brand when the Gen Z is looking for the new service or the product. So I would say if a brand is not there, they're not going to capture Gen Z as a customer. And I would say probably the last one important point is growing up as digital natives and having Amazon Prime as well as the Uber as native apps. The first contact with the service goes through the app, and engagement with the influencers is a crucial part. So brand is. That doesn't matter if you're just a startup or the big brand which been on the market for quite some time. You have to capitalize on present through the influence community. So for Gen Z, is making this emotional contact with the influencer is a crucial part of any decision-making process.
Perfect. As a Gen Zer, I can confirm that I use TikTok more than Google. That is very true. Okay, now Bilal, I wanted to ask you, in what ways are VR and immersive technologies offering new possibilities for mental health wellness?
First of all, thank you for having me here. From the audience, how many of you have heard the use of VR or AI in wellness or mental health? Very few. The VR, how many of you think was in being in the 20th century? And how many of you think it was in the being in the 19th century? None. It was in the 19th century. VR in different shape and form was there. So what is happening now is the collection of different technologies and the awareness, because most of us, Gen Z or non-Gen Z, any Gen X, Y, Z, right? everybody is more accustomed to the technology, right? So using virtual reality, artificial intelligence, then the acknowledgement that it could be used in different domains, then accepting and using, making the case studies. What we are doing is not only VR and AI, we have other technologies. How many of you might have heard volumetric technology? Older technology, EEG, QEEG, right? Then neurofeedbacks, biofeedbacks, all of these technologies, then photogrammetry. All of these technologies are the compilation of a solution, what not only me, other technology companies are bringing into the market. It's the acceptance of the technology. It's the user's usability, making more accustomed user interfaces, client experiences, customer experiences. All of those things are the amalgamation of what we are doing, what you are doing, Gen Z are doing, or any other person reading about technology, using a technology are doing. So I think what the bridge is, we are bridging that gap in between the users of technology and the future of the technology. Because what we thought, how many of you have used a VR, any type of VR, right? So what you do, you are immersed in that situation. Your brain accepts you are in that situation at that time, right? So what we have done, we have removed the computer graphics from in between. We have brought in the real videos. So I'm talking to you when we are talking about public speaking, the anxiety of public speaking, fear of presentations. We are talking about talking to you guys. You are making difficult for me because I'm nervous. You are asking questions. You are leaving the room. You are talking to each other. You are playing on your phone. So you're giving me a hard time, right? So this is the change happening. People are thinking, people are making the change into the domain where it is more accepted. If you use computer graphics for a period of time, brain will accept it's not real, right? I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a medical person, I'm a technologist. So I'm using more of a technology. I have a team of about 13, 14 psychologists, published over 20 scientific papers. So that's why I can talk a couple of words, CBT and stimuli and all these things, but don't count me on that. So it's the use of technology which is acceptable with everybody, not only Gen Z. So this is a bridge, basically. So you take any technology and look at what is happening in the market. What will be, we are sitting in the city of future, right? Everything, whatever happens, first happens in Dubai, right? So when you look at somebody, I've done a lot of talks in Dubai, and believe me, only 1 to 2% people have heard of use of VR or AI in mental health or in wellness. So still is a transition, change happening, and we are bringing that change, and we are inviting you all to be open to accept the change.
That was very insightful. Thank you, Bilal. And Luma, now I want to ask you, how can personalized mental health support initiatives help regional youth build resilience?
Yeah, definitely. So I think one of the things, so just for context for everyone, so what I'm working on is Elggo, and we're an AI-powered mental health platform for schools. So we're really looking to bring in awareness, prevention, and intervention tools and just mental health education into mainstream schooling. And one of the things that we've seen that the most effective thing and what youth really resonate with the most is when things are private and personalized. So usually, you know, if we're just throwing a bunch of data which is already available, it's not going to be as effective as making sure that we can understand what the challenges are and then personalize and tailor that support towards the youth and the people that we're working with. So that's really been key in the work that we've been doing, making sure that, you know, we can identify what the issues are so that we can build accordingly and make sure that everything is very much curated for whoever it is that is going to be in front of the product. And then, of course, you know, each person, each region, each country, everyone has their own unique set of challenges. So making sure that in that very moment, people have, you know, availability to what it is they need at that time is what's been really key for us.
Thank you, Luma. Now, before you all leave, I want to ask all of you a question. Looking ahead, what trends do you predict will drive the intersection of technology and wellness as Gen Z continues to reshape the industry? Who wants to start? Luma, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, I think it's personalized intervention and just like things that are really curated because, you know, if I'm dealing with, for example, social anxiety, other things are going to be thrown out the window. It's not going to be something that I care to learn about or care to want to improve. And I think just on the whole topic and wave of Gen Z, there are more barriers that are being broken down. Like now is a time where I think mental health stigma has been at its lowest. I'm not saying that it's not there, of course, but I think it's been at its lowest because people are open to having conversations, and those conversations are often propelled by Gen Z. So that's really been a big plus. So, you know, making sure that those barriers to stigma and then access are no longer there is one thing that, you know, are really being shaped. And then again, personalized learning.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Dennis, could you share?
I think I look at the trends from a different angle. So I don't ask myself what's going to change in the future, but rather I'm sitting back and looking at as an entrepreneur at things that will not change in the future. So the same comes for when I look at our most client base, Gen Z. What's going to drive them in the next 10, 15 years is they will become the main purchasing power in the economy. So I think flexibility, on demand, and omni-channel services going to stay for quite some time. And the brands need to win the loyalty, especially when Gen Z is in their 20s. And this is where the majority of us make lifelong term habits. So this is the prime time for any brand to capture the loyalty of Gen Z by supplying on-demand, flexible services. And especially if you look at the wellness and well-being, omni-channels, meaning like you don't only sell fitness anymore as a way of of your self-care. You combine either fitness, medical checkups, supplements, as well as the recovery and the mental health. So either you supply it under one roof, as you can see in the emergence of social wellness clubs, or you supply it as a service providing access to such services. So I think all those three components going to stay in Gen Z mind for quite some time, and that's what we're trying to capitalize on for us as a brand.
Thank you, Dennis. And last but not least, Bilal.
I think we need to move beyond Gen Z. We need to educate, we need to make parents of Gen Z and the grandparents of Gen Z to accept the possibilities, tell them, educate them what is possible with the newest and immersive technologies. Where could VR be used? How many of us might have thought 5, 6 years ago, 10 years ago that VR could be used in psychology? VR could be used for the exam anxiety. VR could be used for the interview skills. VR could be used for the presentation skills. VR could be used for the fear of heights. VR could be used for different aspects. So the acceptance of the change happening, and we need to make parents, mainly the seniors from us, our generation, then Gen Z generation, or the next generation to come. We need to educate them from the grassroots level, be open to all the possibilities, and think outside the box. Just don't think VR as a meta. Don't just think VR as a gaming console. Just don't use VR as a gadget. Use it for the education purposes. We have developed solutions for exam anxiety for the universities. We have developed solutions for corporates, for interview skills, for presentation skills. We have developed solutions for psychologists for the phobias, fear of snakes, fear of cats, fear of heights. So the possibilities are endless. All we need to do is educate ourselves and be open to the change happening and be open to accept the endless possibilities.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you all for your time. Actually, give it up to our speakers, everyone.
Thank you for having us.
Of course.